Greetings, Algo Artisans. Is ETHENA the next 100x crypto gem? Maybe. We're going to take a look at it today, look at the charts, and we're going to take a look at what this coin is all about right now. Okay, we're going to start over at CoinMarketCap just to get this brief description, the elevator pitch about it. ETHENA, what is it? It is a synthetic dollar protocol built on Ethereum that will provide a crypto-native solution for money that is not reliant on traditional banking system infrastructure alongside a globally accessible dollar-denominated savings instrument, the internet bond. Okay, so what seems to make this different from other stablecoin operations would be that it is not reliant on the traditional banking system. You have, Tether, other coins like that. They're all backed by either US dollars or some kind of mix of goods partially denominated in US dollars or fiat currency. So in this case, this apparently is not reliant on such things. And so we are going to take a look at some of the other market caps to see how high this really could go. But before we even get there, let's take a look at the charts just to see what this looks like and where it could go in the short term. Okay, so you can see that when it hit the exchanges here just or 2 days ago, price went basically doubled. It went from about 60 cents to just above 120, so at about 130 actually. And this coincided with an airdrop, and so the airdrop claims were made open I think a day or two ago, and so this sell-off here might be part of that. However, the airdrop does have some details in it. Airdrops are always a concern because once the airdrop is over, people will possibly sell their positions, and this was a sharding airdrop, so if you had your coins being staked, that's how that works. Now in this case, you could continue to stake your coins. People might not sell off their positions, so the result of this airdrop might not be so bearish. All I can really do is to take a look at these impulses and give us a look as to the next level that price could go, and this is only for trading, not for buy and hold. Buy and hold is actually a whole different story. We're going to talk about how high that could go. First, we're just going to talk about those who are trading it and the next kind of stop-off points where if I were in this token, where I might take profit, right? I'm going to use a Fibonacci extension tool, and we're going to take this from the bottom to the top of the last major impulse. Now the retracement went to the 786, double bottomed on that 786. So if you look at this Fibonacci here, that level right there, that gray line is that level, and it double bottomed there and seems to be holding in a range. So if this broke out to the upside, right, if it broke above this top, this 131 kind of area, then we're looking at say about $1.44 and $1.60. Those are the next two targets that I would be interested in if I were in this trade long. This coin has the right partners and it's on the right exchanges. There is a lot of volume. In fact, if we go back to CoinMarketCap, we can see the tokenomics on the left here, and the market cap itself is $1.5 billion. The actual market cap traded over the last 24 hours is 150% of that market cap. Now, given we are in the middle of an airdrop and just actually right after that airdrop, that might account for a lot of this trading, but it also just hit the exchanges. So there is a lot of activity on this token. So we should probably get to know this token a little bit better. So here's the website, good looking website. One of the key things before we even get into what this token is and so on and so forth, look at who it's backed by on the right hand side here. You got Dragonfly, Arthur Hayes, Binance Labs, OKX Ventures, Bybit, Deribit, AAVE, Synthetics Curve Frax. I mean, this is kind of a who's who list, really, especially from the exchange standpoint. And to have Arthur Hayes' backing, that says a lot. Arthur Hayes is a real G. That guy pretty much has some of the best 30,000 foot views on crypto macro that I've ever seen. So for him to back this does make me very interested in this project. This is airdrop data here, right? And right now there's a native yield, right? You can hold the actual USDE, so exchange your token for that, and then hold that to get a smaller yield, or you can stake for the SUSD, and you can right now get 37.1% yield, which is massive. Now, just 3 weeks ago, the yield was almost twice that. So the yield is dropping as this coin becomes more popular, and that's usually how things work. When bonds are at a lower price, the yield tends to be higher because it's attracting investors. And as investors come in and the bond price rises, the yields will go down because they don't need to attract as many investors. I mean, it's not necessarily as simple as that, but it kind of is. I can say, again, 3 weeks ago, ago, the yield was about twice this. So we're seeing this coin be adopted. You can even use that as an adoption metric. The bond yields being half of what they were, we can see how popular this is getting. That's a very strong trend. So here's the overview. ETHENA's synthetic dollar, USDE, will provide the first censorship-resistant, scalable, and stable crypto-native solution for money achieved by delta hedging staked Ethereum collateral. USDE will be fully backed, transparently on-chain, and free to compose throughout DeFi. USDE peg stability is ensured through the use of delta hedging derivatives positions against protocol-held collateral. This is actually delta neutral hedging, right? So basically, what they're doing is they're not worried about price going up or down on the derivatives. They're merely just scraping the cream off the top, whether it goes up or down, right? So they're able to make money in either bullish or bearish conditions, right? We talk about where the money comes from, the internet bond. It says it will combine yield derived from staked Ethereum as well as funding and basis spread from perpetual and futures markets to create the first on-chain crypto native bond that can function as a dollar-denominated savings instrument for users in permitted jurisdictions. Okay, so it does talk about where the money's coming from, right? Staking, arbitrage, funding and basis spread. Again, delta neutral, can work in any, up or down market. So this is where your money's coming from if you're curious to know how this is going to be funded. Okay, it's a pretty decent way to do it. I do think that the yield at 37% is not something that's going to last. It usually raises my hackles when I see somebody offering anything above 20% yield. I start thinking of Luna, but I think that's just because this is such a new protocol. They want to attract investors, and so the bond yield is very high, and as more and more people adopt this, it'll probably come down to reality. I'm guessing, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a number out there. I'm guessing it'll go below 10%. Anything that stays above 20%, I probably would be concerned about. It's worth a small risk, but I don't know that I would put a lot of money in something like that. However, it does have all the right backing, so we do want to pay attention to that. The TVL is actually massive. TVL at 2.0 billion. So we are looking at a pretty strong amount of value, especially given only 120,000 users. So I mean, this really is chugging along. This is not just a small operation at all. And let's take a look at some news about the recent airdrop. So this is 750 million ENA airdrop, and it says that it's joining the ranks of decentralized finance protocols that organize airdrops for the users. The allocation of 750 million ENA, constituting 5% of the total supply, will be made according to each user's activity in the protocol. So this is going to favor those who have more money. Now, small holders will receive their ENA airdrop without vesting. The 2,000 largest wallets will receive only half of their allocation on the day of the airdrop, which I believe was 2 days ago on the 2nd. The other half will be distributed in a 6-month vesting period, subject to the users holding at least the same amount of USDE. So they do have to hold USDE equal to the amount of the half of their airdrop, and they get it in 6 months. And they had to hold that as they did when the airdrop snapshot was taken. So they're going to have to continue to hold that half in order to claim that half in 6 months. I mean, at this point, the snapshot was taken, so you're probably not going to get any more boost in money from this airdrop. But in 6 months, it'll be interesting to see if the coin appreciates quite a lot and these people end up with a decent amount of it and they all dump on the market. It can create a move down, but if it's a good enough protocol, it shouldn't matter. And of course, they're saying this will help reward long-term participation. They did announce the start of the SATS campaign, a new phase of the ecosystem development that will focus on onboarding Bitcoin as a backing asset. Okay, so it's an Ethereum project, but they do want to have Bitcoin as part of the backing asset, and it will grow USDE's market cap to over 10 billion. Okay, so what is it at 1.5 billion, right? So that's a big grow. One of the concerns I have is the total supply versus the circulating supply. It's about 10% of the total supply is circulating. I haven't been able to find any other vesting data aside from that airdrop as to where 90% of this money, where and when, like where it is now and where it's going to go. I'll see if I can dig a little bit deeper. But when you have such a top-heavy vesting, it does create concern for investors who, I mean, it doesn't take much to tank a market. If you dropped even 10% of the entire supply on the market, it would literally equal the current circulating supply, and it would cut the price of this thing in half. And of course, people would panic sell it. It would do a lot worse than that, most likely. So I would like a little more data as to where the rest of these coins are and what the vesting period is and all of that. And I'll see if I can grab that. But in the meantime, I do think this project has a lot of promise. Given the backing we talked about, given that it has doubled within a couple of days of hitting the exchanges. Of course, again, that had to do with the airdrop, but either way, I do think this is a pretty good coin. Could go 100x. I mean, okay, so let's take a quick look at the market cap for some other stable coins. Okay, so Tether is the most prominent stable coin as far as I know, and it is number 3 in all cryptocurrency. Its market cap is 106 billion, right? So at the moment, if the circulating supply for ETHENA were not to change and market cap for ETHENA were to jump to 106, basically you would see like I think like an 85x from the current price. And crypto is only going to grow, right? So if you look at the market cap for, Tether, of course, it's been growing year over year over year. So going back to when Tether really started to ramp up in the 2020 bull market, that market cap was only at 4, 5, 6 billion. And then it went all the way up to 100 billion as where it is now. And it continues to rise. So, you're looking at these market caps will probably continue to go up. In fact, if you look at Tether's market cap, let's go back a little bit farther. It's only gone up this many million. Now it's this many billion. In 2019, 4 to 100 billion. You're looking at a times 25 market cap just from then to now. And as a matter of fact, Tether's market cap went up 20 times in that last bull market. From the bottom here, sitting at 66 billion, 20 times 66 for Tether is going to be $1.2 trillion, I think. Is that right? Yeah, I think it's like $1.3 trillion. So 20 times in the bull market is kind of what one could just estimate from the last bull market. So 20 times the current market cap of ETHENA would only take it up, not only, but it would take it up to about $30 billion. And again, that would be a $20 coin. But if ETHENA begins to compete with Tether, this could be just incredibly huge. Your 100x is well within the range of possibility. But again, it does require adoption. Just like any other investment, ETHENA could tank. Anything can go to zero. The main point here is not investment advice, but this is a pretty interesting coin, ETHENA is. So I hope this was helpful. Please come over to algofactory.tech. We teach people how to build trading methods, build trading algorithms. Old school trading doesn't have to be automated, and we help people build these methods that can pull money out of the market. They can do it daily, weekly, monthly, depending on their preference. So please come over to www.algofactory.tech. Trade your job, upgrade your life. We'll see you on the next one.